Everyone knows that time moves forward whether we want it to or not, and Willie Nelson has never pretended otherwise. What makes his story powerful isn't that he escaped time, but that he learned how to walk beside it without fear. Decades of music, friendships, laughter, and loss have shaped him into someone who understands life deeply but refuses to let it harden him. While others slow down or disappear, Willie keeps showing up, guitar in hand, smiling like someone who understands the secret most people miss. He doesn't rush, doesn't look back with regret, and doesn't pretend the road has been easy. He simply keeps moving. His presence today isn't about proving anything or chasing relevance. It's about honoring the music that carried him this far and the people who walked beside him along the way. Willie isn't running from the end. He's making peace with the journey. Roots in Texas soil. Long before the world knew his name, Willie Nelson was just a boy growing up in Abbott, Texas, raised by his grandparents and surrounded by music that came straight from the heart. Gospel songs filled the air, and the sound of a piano played by his sister Bobby became part of his earliest memories. Music wasn't a dream back then, it was simply life. An old guitar and a hymn book were enough to spark something that never faded. He learned early that songs could carry feelings words alone could not. Writing came naturally, not as ambition, but as expression. Even as a child, Willie understood rhythm, humor, and honesty. Those early years shaped the man he would become, grounding him in simplicity and sincerity. Texas didn't just give him a place to grow up. It gave him a voice, one that would someday speak for millions who felt unseen. Finding his own way. When Willie first tried to make it in Nashville, the industry didn't quite know what to do with him. He didn't fit neatly into expectations, and instead of changing himself to belong, he chose to leave. That decision defined his entire career. Going back to Texas wasn't giving up. It was choosing authenticity over approval. There, he helped build what became known as outlaw country, music that wasn't polished or perfect, but honest and lived in. His songs smelled like dust, sweat, love, and heartbreak because they came from real places. Willie didn't chase trends or success formulas. He trusted his instincts even when it cost him. That trust paid off, not just in fame, but in respect. He proved that doing things your own way might take longer, but it lasts longer too. His path wasn't easy, but it was his, and that made all the difference. Songs that changed lives. By the 1970s, Willie Nelson wasn't just successful, he was essential. Albums like Red-Headed Stranger and Stardust didn't just top charts, they shifted how people understood country music. His voice carried tenderness and truth, never forcing emotion, just letting it unfold. Songs like Always on My Mind became emotional landmarks for listeners, tied to memories, love, and longing. Willie's strength was never technical perfection. It was emotional accuracy. People believed him because he believed what he sang. His music didn't talk down or dress things up. It sat with you, quietly, like an old friend who knows your story. Even today, those songs still feel alive because they were never about a moment in time. They were about human experience, something that doesn't age. Willie didn't write hits, he wrote truths, and truths don't expire. Aging without apology. At an age when most people step away, Willie Nelson stays present. He doesn't fight age, hide it, or pretend it doesn't exist. He simply refuses to let it tell him when to stop. Writing songs, recording albums, and touring aren't obligations to him. They're expressions of joy. He often says he hasn't quit because he doesn't feel finished, and that honesty resonates. Willie doesn't chase youth. He embraces experience. His voice may be softer, his steps slower, but his spirit remains sharp and playful. He treats aging not as a decline, but as a continuation. Each year adds depth, not limitation. That mindset is part of why people connect to him now more than ever. He reminds us that purpose doesn't come with an expiration date. As long as there's curiosity and love for the craft, there's still something worth sharing. Music as meaning. Songwriting has never been about achievement for Willie Nelson. Even after countless awards and milestones, he continues because music gives him something nothing else can. It keeps him grounded, curious, and connected. Writing songs at this stage of life isn't about proving relevance. It's about reflection. His later work feels peaceful, thoughtful, and unhurried, like conversations with himself set to melody. The songs don't shout, they listen. There's wisdom in their simplicity, a sense of someone who has lived enough to understand what matters. Music for Willie isn't a career. It's how he processes the world. It's how he breathes. When he picks up his guitar, he isn't chasing applause. He's participating in something that has always made sense to him. That authenticity is why his music still feels alive, no matter how much time passes. Giving back. Beyond the stage, Willie Nelson has always cared deeply about people, especially farmers and working families. Co-founding Farm Aid wasn't a publicity move, it was personal. He understood the struggles firsthand and wanted to help in a meaningful way. Decades later, that commitment hasn't faded. Willie doesn't see activism as separate from art. He sees it as responsibility. Using his platform to lift others has always mattered more than recognition. He speaks plainly, without drama, because the issues are real and ongoing. His compassion isn't loud, but it's consistent. That consistency defines him as much as his music does. While fame came and went, his values stayed steady. Helping others wasn't something he did once. It became part of who he is. In a world that often forgets the roots of success, Willie keeps honoring his, quietly and sincerely. Wisdom without preaching. When Willie Nelson talks about life, he doesn't lecture or offer grand philosophies. His wisdom comes casually, often wrapped in humor. He understands that people learn best when they feel relaxed, not judged. His outlook is simple: stay positive, stay curious, and don't carry unnecessary weight. He believes that thoughts matter, that negativity drains energy, and that choosing a lighter mindset can change everything. That belief isn't naive, it's practiced. Willie has seen enough hardship to know how easy it is to become bitter, and he consciously chooses not to. His wisdom feels earned because it's lived. He doesn't claim to have all the answers, just observations gathered over time. Listening to him feels less like advice and more like companionship. He's not telling people how to live. He's sharing what worked for him and leaving the rest open, which makes it resonate even more. Still on the road. Every time Willie Nelson steps onto a stage, there's a quiet understanding between him and the audience. They know how rare the moment is, and he does too. But he doesn't dwell on it. He smiles, picks up his guitar, and treats the night like any other chance to play. There's something powerful in that normalcy. He isn't performing nostalgia. He's living in the present. Each song becomes a shared moment, not a farewell. The road may be long behind him, but it still stretches forward in small, meaningful ways. One town at a time, one song at a time. Willie doesn't rush through performances or cling to the past. He shows up fully, trusting that music will carry the rest. That presence is why people keep coming back. It isn't about endings, it's about being here, right now. A legacy that breathes. Willie Nelson's legacy isn't frozen in albums or awards. It lives in the people who find comfort in his songs, in the musicians he inspired to stay true to themselves, and in the quiet courage he models simply by continuing. His story isn't bitter, it's honest. It acknowledges loss without letting it steal joy. It accepts time without surrendering curiosity. Willie turned a lifetime of experiences into melodies that feel like home. When the stage eventually goes quiet, the music won't. It will keep traveling through memories, radios, and voices singing along. That's the kind of legacy that doesn't fade. It doesn't belong to history alone. It belongs to everyone who ever needed a song to understand themselves a little better. Willie Nelson didn't just make music. He made space for people to feel, and that will always matter.